team. Close the kitchen. We're here. No fear. Who's coming to close the kitchen? Marcunista, Crystal's here, Liz is here. Hi, honey. Good to see you. Janice is here. Good to see everyone. Happy Friday. Sam's here. Happy Friday. Who's here on Facebook? Hi, friends. Love you, love you. Lisa's here. Capri Lover's here. Sharon. Oh, makes so much more sense now, Sharon. Jojo's here. Purse Queen's here. Hey, Rebecca. Chase, I love Janet's here. Susie's here with 15 days. Yay! Rose is here, ready. Everyone's ready. Gosh, I hope I tell it well. Yay, Ted on day 20. There's so much exciting stuff happening. But Trossie's here. And I know Susie, but isn't that so amazing? So here's the deal, right? Hey, Rachel. Hey, gang. So Molly here. Fiercely devoted to your freedom, here to be closed in the kitchen with everybody, the great love of my life. Woohoo! And so many people, hey Nita, so many people talking about, getting some days together off of sugar, getting some days together closing the kitchen. And I just want to, before I share, my little story with you, it's a beautiful thing. You get 1 day, you get 3 days, you get 5 days, you get 15 days. And in my experience of not just myself, but helping thousands of people to break up with sugar, is that what feels somewhat maybe punishing, or what feels punishing, or what feels so hard in the beginning starts to feel amazing, and then we move from sort of punishment to protection. So Susie and Ted with the 15 days and the 20 days, my loves, start to guard it with your life. Purse Queen is saying that it feels sad, and yes, absolutely, my love. It feels so sad in the beginning. I don't know if you've bought Breaking Up with Sugar, Purse Queen, but there's a whole chapter devoted to the feels, all the feels, and especially the grief, my love. And as we say in Breaking Up with Sugar, the book, Sam, it's not about deprivation. It's about liberation. You know what I mean? That's what you should tell your husband. This is about liberation, not deprivation. Try it on. So anyway, gang, here to tell you a little story, and I'm so happy to see everybody. And, we've been talking so much, we talked about the elephants last time we were together, and, that stake in the ground that they hold the little elephants to, right? But then when they become big elephants, they could easily use their tusk and, bat it away, but they're so accustomed to living with these chains on them that they continue to let that stake in the ground, rule them. And I just have all versions of this story, so I'll tell you I can tell you the tiger one on Sunday if you stay tuned. But I'm going to tell you the monkey version of it today. But it's so true. We get so attached. This story is not so much about being held hostage, but it's actually, maybe it is. You decide what this story is about for you. How about we start there? So in some villages, when they're trying to capture monkeys, okay, when we talked about the elephants, we got very into feeling bad for the elephants. This is a parable. Yes, it's terrible when we capture animals. I'm so with you. But can we just extend ourselves out of that story and listen to this one so we can think about how we can do it ourselves? Okay. So in many villages, the way that they capture monkeys is like this. They put a banana behind a coconut or in a coconut so that the monkey's arm, while it's trying to grab the banana, its most favorite treat, so that its arm gets stuck, right? And while their arm is stuck in the coconut because they're so gripped heavy, to the banana, they get captured up. If, here it is, if they just let go of the banana, bip, bop, poop, out, no capturing. We get so hyper-focused on a belief, on an idea, I would argue maybe even a food, and we won't let go of it, right? An artificial sweetener, we won't let go of it. And then and then we get captured over and over and over again, right? So we have to stop being like a monkey, whether it's a thought, right? Whether it's a belief, whether it's an item. We forget so much that it's in the letting go where we find our freedom, right? It's in the trusting. It's in the letting go. It's in the releasing, right? Because the problem is when we're gripped on so tight, right, to what we think we should have, to what we think that we need even, right? Especially when it comes to food and our food behaviors, truly. But also, frankly, when it comes to holding on to beliefs like, I'm not lovable, or holding on to beliefs like, no, like, that won't work for me. Or some of my favorites, like, oh, no, like, I can't give up artificial sweeteners. Like, that's not something I can do. I need to have dessert at night, right? And if you think about that, right, if they just released the banana, they could be free. If they just released the banana, they could be free. So, I ask the same question every night. Coffee, well, Bernadette, if it really feels like that much of a noose around your neck, maybe it's something you want to look at. I think there's a lot of things that we hold on to with such a grip that we could let go of. Oh my gosh, so many people are saying coffee. It's so triggering to me. Coffee's like the great love of my life. That's not something I'm really ever interested giving up. Thank you, Susie. I'm in love with my zoo too. I'm going to tell the tiger story again on Sunday. But, it's really something to think about. It's like we're holding on so tight to it that we can't let go. And truth be told, if we're really, the difference between being on a diet and getting into a relationship with food is a shift in what you believe and a shift in how you behave, right? And truth be told, accessing spirituality is actually learning how to let go, right? Learning how to let go and learning how to trust a different rhythm than the one that you may be on if it's causing you trouble. That's what this story is about. What can you bravely let go of? What belief can you bravely let go of? What maybe person can you bravely let go of? I'm seeing that over here. What food can you bravely let go of? There must be something that's between you and your freedom. The same way that banana, unknowingly to that monkey, is causing them to be held hostage. Literally, that's how they get captured, right? And if they would just let go and trust that there's bananas probably all over the village, then it could be different. Am I right? I really want you to be thinking about this. This is such a wonderful time to be able, first we have to just see what the problem is, right? First we have to know what we're dealing with. We have to know what we're up against, knowing what the problem is really the first step of all of this, right? And then surrendering to the fact that, you got to find a new and different way to go about solving for it. And this is the big thing with food, right? This is the big thing with food. Because the thing that happens as a function of our diet drama and our diet trauma is that we get into the worst stance possible, right? And the worst stance possible, in my opinion, is this one. You know that one? I got it. Not me. Well, I can't really do that. I'm fine. Well, maybe that, but no, not me, right? You know this? You know what I mean? So, right. So we have to let go. And oh, I love this one that Rose is saying. I need to let go that I'm hungry all the time, maybe, right? I need to let go of my snacking. I need to let go of the fact that I'm not willing to weigh and measure my foods. I mean, there's so many things. I love this one that JoJo's saying. I'm going to talk about it. It's one of my favorite ones. She says, I'm addicted to the belief that at some point I'll fall off my plan instead of believing that one of these times it will click. Yeah, JoJo, that's got to go. That is your banana. Like, and JoJo, my question would be, what would it look like if you let go of that belief? Because the truth is that belief is your mortal enemy. That belief is what is repeating this cycle. If you look in the vows chapter of the book, you'll see that first vow has nothing to do with food. Nothing whatsoever about food. It only has to do with opening your mind. And frankly, opening up your palms like the monkeys and the bananas. Do you know what I'm saying? So think about it. I mean, lots of really good metaphoric bananas coming up in these comments. Chocolate, planning, volume, right? Rose, just for whatever it's worth, at the Breaking Up a Sugar Plan, we had 3 meals and a snack, and I think the snack is like the linchpin of life, just for whatever it is. Yes. These beliefs, JoJo, they are your mortal enemies, which means that you need to think them less and believe them even less. Like, I would have Post-its around my house if I were you, like having that belief with a big X over it. Because if you really believe that this is going to fail you, this is what we've been talking about with cognitive distortions, right? We're powerless over our first thought, but we're not powerless over what we believe, and we're not powerless over how we behave. And if that thought came up to me over and over again, JoJo, I would, like the dog, I would be like, no, like fight back. Say, no, not today, thought. Go away, right? And that's how you have to be sometimes. When you can start to recognize the mortal enemy thoughts, this is where it begins. This is where the freedom begins. This is where we're letting go of the bananas, my loves. So, as always, I've spoken to you for like 4,000 hours. I like to keep it like 15 minutes. I know our time is really valuable. And yes, Carol, many of us are. One of my clients like had a big podcast, and he was talking about his progress. He's talking about his food. He calls it his food addiction, and half of the podcast was his grief around ketchup. But the truth is, just for whatever it's worth, Carol, is that letting go of ketchup makes you less hungry. You just don't want the food as badly. It's really incredible. It's really, really incredible. So, anyway, my loves. So we're off tomorrow night. We're back on Sunday. Sunday is Love Letter Day, one of my favorite days of the year. I get to see it twice. Also, if you're not a part of our Facebook group, I wonder why you're not. It's incredible. And, oh my goodness, most importantly, you guys, did I even tell you this? I'm so sorry if I didn't. This Wednesday, perhaps my like favorite therapist in like the entire world. His name is Brad Reedy. He's written 2 books. He was my clinical supervisor for a really long time. He's just like an incredible person. And he is really about talking about our relationship with ourselves. And I felt like we've been talking so much about relationship with self. I thought we should do a webinar about it, right? We're like always talking so much about the food. Let's take a minute and talk about getting our relationship with ourself in order. So on Instagram, the link is in my bio. On Facebook, there'll be a link that comes in the Sunday Love Letter, so make sure you're signed up for it. And, it's all free. I don't like funneling any of this. I just want us all to be really happy and well, because it's such a weird and hard time. So anyway, Ted, I don't know if Primal Kitchen ketchup is okay, but if it were me, I would look at the first 5 ingredients, and if the first 5 ingredients have no sugar in it, then it's okay. So I'm not really sure, but I would take a look at it but the other thing I just want to say about Ted's question about Primal Kitchen ketchup, the other thing that's really amazing to do is to learn how to eat food without ketchup. Because that's really where your freedom is. I would be really scared. And here's what I just want to say this is like a total side note. Because then I'm dependent on Primal Kitchen ketchup, right? And then I'm out to dinner. Ted, really listen to this. And then I'm out to dinner and I'm craving ketchup because I want ketchup because I'm used to having ketchup on it, even though it's Primal Kitchen ketchup. And then I'm at risk to use ketchup, right? The truth is ketchup's made of sugar. And even the Primal Kitchen, when it's ground, it's like, you remember that part of the book. It's really, in the sugar part of the book, there's such great research on when sugar becomes apples, like when so the studies, one of my favorite studies, right? The people eat apples, people eat applesauce, and the people drink apple juice, right? And the only way that their blood sugar stays stable is in the apple. So I think of ketchup like applesauce. And if you think about the glycemic load of that, I don't know. Like, tomatoes are tricky like that, and one size doesn't fit all. And I'm not saying yes, and I'm not saying no. I just want you guys to have full freedom, right? And so I would just, try to find a middle path relationship with that, where if you go out to dinner and you have a hamburger and you can just have it, the dependency of all of it, guys. The dependency is why the monkey won't let go of the banana. So it's like the ketchup, right? It's like, you want to be fully free. I want you to be fully free. It's like when I was just on a podcast and he was like, well, what do you do for dessert? What do you do for sweet? I was like, I don't do sweet. It's so amazing. I don't need it anymore. I'm free. Good. Carol's like, Molly, I get it. Good. You should be in everybody. This is like, if my entire power circle would be like, Carol's one of us. Molly, we get it. So anyway, my loves, so think about this webinar. Brad Reedy is like, oh my God. I was excited that he was going to do this webinar with me. So my loves, we want to be thinking about what is the banana? Oh yeah, Tracy, letting go of the stevia and the coffee is like, oh my God. It is like cartwheels of freedom. I can't even explain it. When I gave up artificial sweetener, my whole entire life changed. Oh my God, I had no cravings anymore. The best thing I ever did in my life. Okay, now I've spoken for 4,000 hours. Thank you for sitting with me this long. Let's do it, my loves. Hand on our heart, for ourselves, for our CTK community, our Breaking Up with Sugar community, for those who are suffering with food and weight disorders around the world, and for those who are suffering in general, for all the people on the front lines. We will close the kitchen. So here we go. Bernadette's closed the kitchen. Lisa's closed the kitchen. Vitrasi's closed the kitchen. Sam has closed the kitchen. Amazing. Liz has closed the kitchen. Thank you. Thank you. Martha's closed the banana and the kitchen. Rachel's closed the kitchen. Susie's closed the kitchen. With Love Baskets Bakeries closed the kitchen. Shira closed the kitchen. Tracy's closed the kitchen. Janet's closed the kitchen. Sharon's closed the kitchen. Purse Queen closed the kitchen. Rosemary, day 8, amazing. Ted's closed the kitchen on day 20. Bria's closed the kitchen. Zach's closed the kitchen. I love you. Jojo's closed the kitchen. Brenna's closed the kitchen. Crystal, Karen, thank you. Love you too, honey. Roseanne's closed the kitchen. Emily's closed the kitchen. It's okay. You can watch the replay, my loves. Carol's closed the kitchen. Lizzie's closed the kitchen. Fabulous, my loves. Close the ketchup and the kitchen. Yep. Gosh, fully free. That's just a question you want to ask yourself. Do you want to be fully free? That's the big question. It's yours for the taking, my loves. I'll see y'all Sunday night. Have a beautiful weekend.